It was supposed to be the big celebration of 100 years of Disney animation, a legacy that is shared by no other company in the world. A spectacular achievement. But a spectacular achievement is not to be had from the most recent film from Disney, the one that's supposed to celebrate all of it. Wish is being hammered by the top critics, and today we're going to examine why the other critics might not be, well, so angry at a film that has disappointed so many. The top critics, what's different about them? And what is the difference at all between top critics and all critics over on Rotten Tomatoes? Today we're diving in to explain the splat. Hello folks, welcome back to the show that is taking on pop culture one video at a time. You're the electricity that makes it so, and we are so pleased that you're here with us. Thank you for sharing your time each and every day. Today we're talking about Wish, and Disney wishes this was getting better reviews, but it is not. Now, how is this happening that top critics are so despondent over the film, whereas all critics are less so, although still not good? We're going to explain the way that the system works to you. We're going to explain the way the industry has to fall in line for some, but not for others. Get ready for a masterclass in review scores and the system of splatology.
More like
if you thought it was getting better, folks, think again. Wish over on Rotten Tomatoes, which, by the way, Rotten Tomatoes, I don't trust it, not one bit. It's corporately owned. But, let's say this. When the splat is as splattering as this, it makes you realize that the corporate media can't even cover for this. And so we're going to show you exactly how bad this gets. It gets worse. This 54% is just the beginning. So
They're
Wish is coming out.
Intense scrutiny now too, I think.
Because the industry wants to crush them.
Yeah. Well, you have the whole Bunker 15 scandal as well. So I think people that
Tell
are
us
buyers
about that, John.
Yeah. So there's this company called Bunker 15 that admits to paying people to do reviews of lesser known films. Whether or not
lesser known, of course, only lesser known. Nobody's doing
for the most part. But I think Vulture did a report on it saying that, alleging that the company was basically manipulating reviews in order to make the films look more sellable to distributors.
Well, this is a shock, I think, to nobody. We've often suspected that Rotten Tomatoes is highly manipulated, and just our suspicion, of course. But we did an article on thatparkplace.com not too long ago about the fact that a ton of the reviews for the Marvels that were positive, if you looked at the user accounts, they had only ever reviewed The Little Mermaid. That was the only other film they'd ever reviewed, and so that was odd. But let's examine this 54% splat from all critics, by the way. And folks, remember what we call this: review harvesting. Over the next few days, I suspect that number will go up as Disney finds favorable reviewers in what I term review harvesting. We've heard about this. Chris Gore described this when he was talking about Indiana Jones, The Dial of Destiny, and how after that abysmal start on Rotten Tomatoes, he was actually invited with friends to come out there to go watch a screening of Disney on Disney property, watch the Indiana Jones screening, and they boozed up the critics. They anything you wanted in terms of alcohol, they had it. And so, that is the review harvesting we're talking about. What we always want to pay attention to on Rotten Tomatoes is we want to look at the top critics, because the top critics are those people who likely aren't losing their jobs if they tell the truth. And when we click that, all critics is 54%, 65 reviews. So prepare for the review harvesting there. But top critics for this movie, and by the way, this movie is the 100th anniversary film for the Walt Disney Company. It is a celebration of 100 years of animation excellence and existence. 38%. 38% of top critics said this was worth watching. So that is where Wish is right now. Now let's click on the reviews and see what we've got here. Well, Grace loves it. Well, thank goodness for Grace.
That's a bellwether right there.
Wow.
But Grace doesn't have a top critic star. I'm so sad.
Sure, read it though. Read what she said. It's fresh, but it says, sure, it has lots of problems and feels half-baked.
Well, you know what Grace needs? Grace needs to give just enough that Disney will invite her back so she can get another Mickey Mouse plushie.
She's gotta
Sure, it
sing
has
song.
lots of problems and it feels half-baked, but that Disney magic is powerful stuff, especially when you want it so bad, and you won't get it if you give a bad review. Fans of Disney animation will find it fun, largely thanks to great performances by Chris Pine and Ariana DeBose. This Is the Thanks I Get is a great song, and I'm also going to sing it to Disney when they don't send me that plushie, so send me the plushie. That's Grace Randolph. I added a little. But our Splatterooski's here. Lindsay Barr says Wish is harmless holiday programming for the family, but it's strange to watch a movie about celebrating the individual star and everyone that feels like it was made by mandate, not a dream. Benjamin Lee says watching all the tired and tested elements fail to coalesce just makes us nostalgic for the classics instead. Let us all wish Disney can find that magic again. Justin Clark, another top critic. Look at all these top critics with the Splatterooskies. Justin Clark gives it a green squishy and says Wish plays out like the no-frills version of a Disney princess story. And Brian Tallarico from RogerEbert.com. Disney's Wish is the most Tallarico. Disney's Wish is the most aggressive piece of Disney propaganda in years. So that's notice, folks. Let me show you this.
On that.
Take a look at this here with the notice when there's not a star and a top critic. Tomato, tomato, splat, splat. Tomato, splat, tomato, splat. Anybody seen a thing here? And then, well, we get down here and there's plenty of splat splats, but you get the idea. I mean, it holds steady the whole way to the top. Not a critic, good. Not a top critic, good. Top critic, bad. Top critic, bad. You get the idea. Now, I don't know if we can actually click on. Where did that one go?
I think you could. Yeah.
Are you talking about Grace at the top? Has
No,
Alan's
we're not gonna-
review of Wish
Justin Clark,
made
I
it
think
on
is
here
the one
yet?
you're looking at.
Let's see this one. This
Or
one
no,
is the one that
there
said
it
it was
is,
the
yeah.
propaganda. Okay.
Yeah. Brian.
This out of RogerEbert.com. And it is by Brian Tallarico, according to Jonas. Disney's
Tallarico.
Wish is the most aggressive piece of Disney propaganda in years. Sure, they
Didn't
all are.
share.
So, I am so
We're
sorry.
not. We can't
folks.
see it. Yep,
I
there
am
we go.
so sorry. Let us begin again. Wish by Brian Tallarico.
Disney
And,
ordered from
Still
Wish.
Tallarico. Still Tallarico.
Tallarico. Okay, we'll get it one day. Tallarico. Disney's Wish is the most aggressive piece of Disney propaganda in years. Sure, they all are to a certain extent, but films like The Lion King or even Encanto stand on their own as stories, whereas Wish feels more closely tied to the history of the Mouse House and the power of imagination that fans have found in it than anything the company has ever produced. Folks, I want to introduce you to the grandest sentence starter I have ever seen. Look at that sucker. Wait, no, I'm sorry. It's not that grandiose. Look at that sucker. That's a sentence now. It's not just the abundant references to everything from Peter Pan to Mary Poppins to Bambi and beyond, but the sense that the entire production is about how we really need to keep wishing on not just stars, but Disney branded ones to make ourselves happy.
It's another self-referential movie.
There's also a reading of a film about a political leader that crushes the dreams of Disney adults that made me think of Ron DeSantis, but that's a different piece.
Oh no!
I want to bring up here,
no.
I want to bring up, guys, that Alan Ing on Film Threat, and I haven't seen this film yet. I'm going to go see it tomorrow, and all of you owe me more super chats for that. Trust me. It will be painful. The best thing in the theater will be the popcorn, and so it had better be buttery, but
Extra butter, right?
extra butter.
For fresh.
Are you going
And
to
that
get
extra
one of
butter
those
is going to
special-
cost $20.
you
So
need one of those special?
Does your theater have a bar?
Yeah, you need a popcorn bucket. You need
If it's a Disney, it
Yeah,
does.
you got
can you
pre-game.
pour tequila right on the popcorn? But Alan Ing says that Wish is a political message about activism. So this young female hero is an activist trying to change the her village, her community, and have an uprising against an evil white king, prince, whatever he is. King Magnifico, I believe. I don't think that's going to go well. The splats show us that not even Hollywood can hang in there anymore. And so I guess what I want to say to you guys is, does this beat the Marvels or come under the Marvels? And does it beat Strange World or come under the Strange World fiasco? What do you guys think?
What was Strange World? I don't remember. That was
Strange
Oh,
World lost
no.
$200 million. I'll have to go to numbers to see what its total box office was. Let me pull that up.
I
real
like
quick.
turtles.
But it lost $200 million. And yes, it did not beat the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Excellent point, Tom.
The pro climate change film, Strange World. Carla Hay of Culture Mix had like the best synopsis that I've seen for Wish here.
Hold on just a second, Vash.
Please.
I hate to interrupt you, but this is too much. Okay, it might beat Strange World. Strange World made 70 million worldwide. If it doesn't beat that,
I think it will beat. I think it will beat Strange World. It did 18 million its opening weekend too, so I think it will beat that. Because what I've seen is like 50 million, I guess, is what I've been seeing at Box Office Pro. That's been their projection.
45 is what I saw most recently.
Okay.
Now, you may have something that's more recent. I don't know. And in light of the films that have failed, John, I mean, it could go up to 50 because nobody's watching anything else.
Yeah,
it's going to go.
It's going down.
It's going to go lower.
It's particularly tough for a Disney film because a lot of people expect these things to be on Disney Plus, right? So if there's any, amount of criticism directed at these things, it's like, maybe we'll wait for it. But this one, go ahead.
No, please. Sorry, Vash. I didn't mean to interrupt.
Oh, I'll throw it to you, Culture, here after this. As a Disney animated film, Wish is more forgettable than iconic. Even with a talented cast, the movie's plot, characters, and songs are generic and derivative. Its references to other Disney movies look more like shameless shilling than fond reminiscing. So, Culture, what do you got?
Go ahead, Culture, and then I have to stop everything.
All right. Well, it speaks volumes. It speaks volumes that everybody's calling out the fact that they're trying to get close to the idea that this celebrates 100 years worth of animation, and I think everybody recognizes that this is not the film to do that, and that the original premise would have been so much more delightful.
When it comes to this movie and to the 100th anniversary, the amazing thing to me is that it seems that there is a baked-in pattern of behavior that has existed for decades, and that is that families go to the movies for the holidays. So for Thanksgiving week, they go watch movies. Disney has managed to be so bad that they're breaking the behavior pattern. They're actually causing families to say, you know what? We always go watch movies. How about we no go to the movies? Let's no go to the movies this year. Instead, we'll actually spend time together. And, kudos to Disney, I guess. I'm bringing families closer and creating conversations because they're not going to the theaters. I think we will miss, though, the theatrical experience. And I hate to see the cinema owners taking it to the chin. If you think about it, guys, this last weekend, we had 3 films that should be tent-pole franchise films. Trolls Band Together, Hunger Games prequel, Marvel movie. Any one of those 3, you would suspect that those were pitched to investors. Hey, we can make $100 million off of this, right? Opening weekend, we can make $100 million. Domestically, the 3 combined came under $100 million. The 3 combined.
That is abysmal. Disney is breaking records, and not any of the good ones right now. They want these things to be successful. They want them to be a statement that they are doing things right and they are the leaders in the culture. And the only thing they are is leaders in overspending, which in some ways, yes, they are the great American company in that way.
These princess films usually kick off a renaissance for Disney. This might be the first one where it's, we're going to see a dark slump here to screw this up. A princess animated film, Thanksgiving, it's got everything in front of it, and to put out something so lackluster. It really speaks to the quality of the creatives and their decision making.
Well, what is amazing is this is the second year. Strange World devastated theaters last year.
Yep.
So we're in that year 2 of theater owners surely saying, hey, we'd like to not be homeless. How about we not do homeless? That kind of sucks.
It would have to make 18.8 more than 18.8 million in order to beat Strange World. Do we think it's going to beat Strange World?
Yes.
In the opening,
it has to.
In the opening,
Trolls Band Together still out though. It's got competition.
I think it will beat Strange World. I'm looking at the most recent Box Office Pro predictions. They're having it between 40 and 60 million, and then total entire is 165 to 289. So if you look at the median there, it's 50 million. So that's kind of where it might be. But as I think Culture was pointing out earlier, we've seen the Marvels have that kind of, it was higher, and they kept bringing it down, and even still it was at 44, and then, or I think Hunger Games was 44, and then but they were putting that up, and then it came back down. So it's likely they might be overestimating what they're doing here with Wish, and it might be on the low end of that prediction range, around 40 million, I would say.
Well,
And then
I want to point something out, John.
Yeah.
And then please continue. It's not a trick on purpose. It's just a quirk of the industry. How's that? But here's the quirk of the industry. As per deadline, Wish is tracking to make around 50 million in its first 5 days after opening on Wednesday, November 22nd, 2023. Now, if we remember that the previews start tomorrow, but they won't count, they'll be rolled into the Wednesday, right?
Right.
This is a 1 week weekend, because the only day that's not being counted is Monday. So this is 6 days, and in 6 days, Deadline thinks it's going to make 50 million. Now, if it comes in 6 days at 50 million, it's underperforming the Marvels. But that's the quirk of the industry, that if you just read this, you think, oh, well, that's better than Marvels. Okay, we get a shot. It's like, actually, no.
Exactly. So, I mean, this movie is going to struggle. We'll see what it does over the weekend. I mean, I was shocked how poor the Marvels did from, was it Friday? It did like 21 million, and then it dropped to like 15, and then it was down to 10 by Sunday, and it just kept dropping by 5 million day over day, losing huge portions of the audience. So I would not be surprised if Wish kind of follows that, given the fact what we're already seeing from these critic reviews and what Vash is hearing from other people as well. I think Lorena Creole also kind of hinted at that when she got to watch an early viewing, was not impressed by it. So we're already seeing kind of word of mouth is not very good on this. I would not be surprised if the cinema score is a B plus, maybe even lower, which is never a good sign. Anything in the B's is
You're right. We don't know the cinema
sign.
score yet.
Right. The cinema score is going to be huge.
Yeah, so that seems to be a really good indicator of whether or not a film has a word of mouth. If you have like an A, anything with an A is good, A minus, A or A plus. But B and B minus are not very good, and we've seen that's what and even B plus, because I think that's what the Hunger Games had, and they just that's a death knell to your movie.
I think cinema score. People get confused. The layperson gets confused by the cinema score. It'll come out and it'll be an A plus, A minus, whatever. And then you see a B plus, B minus, whatever, and you think, oh, that's not bad. But getting a B cinema score in the industry says brace yourself. You're about to crash.
It's similar to what you're just talking about here, how they're kind of trying to make you think that 50 million is the 3 day, the Friday, Saturday, Sunday, when it's like, well, they're trying to make you think that the B plus is actually like what you would get on a report card, which is actually like pretty decent, when it's like, no, it's like a D. People are like,
I believe every Disney animated film before Strange World was in the A's. Strange World was a real outlier because it was the first one that actually hit the B's, and it was like, oh, this thing is dead. But go ahead.
There's two things telling here. I mean, John and Pro just had to break down the sentence structure and how it was put together.
Isn't that amazing?
They try to hide so much in modern journalism, right? Well, it's urinalism. John does journalism. But anyway,
I love it.
So if you have an opening weekend that's 6 days long, it's not a weekend, right? And we often run into this. And I know it's part of the industry and everything else, but it's very misleading.
Culture, they put the previews on a Monday, except it really would be a week, and then they would be objectively false. So they got and that's just step number one. Step number two is, and believe me, I know this on authority, people are rejecting the animation that they're seeing on the screen as well. So it's beyond all the messaging stuff that we all find off-putting. It's the actual animation that people are struggling with in this film as well. It's something that is different. It's unfamiliar. It doesn't give you any sense of good background as well. It's like a 3-dimensional animation on a 2-dimensional background. It's not something people are super excited about. And so this film could turn off the audiences in various ways, not just because of the messaging and not just because people don't trust Disney any longer, but because visually it's not compelling. I don't know. Totally agree. All right, folks, we hope you don't throw a splat at us. No Rotten Tomatoes here, please. Click the like button, share, subscribe. When you click it, you stick it to the algorithms. It's the notification bell. Drop a comment down below. Let us know your thoughts. And have you seen Wish? What's your review of it? We would love to know what you think of the film, having just gone to see it. Wherever you are and whatever you're doing, keep learning, keep growing, and keep having fun.